Hey guys, this is Colin Lyons coming at you from Chicago, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about learning something new. So that's a really open topic. Specifically to me, what I've been learning to do is to make videos like this actually, but specifically to make videos like this when I can very quickly switch to my browser and show you guys what's on my computer screen, but then I can very quickly switch back to the shot of me talking to you. Sort of when I have something to show you, I can go to my screen, and when I don't, I can just talk to the camera. So it's a really unusual setup. It involves two computers and two capture cards and a lav microphone and a whole lot of cables. But the important thing is not what I've learned today so much as the fact that you're looking at learning something new as well, right? So when we think about learning something, we of course want to focus on what we're excited about in the beginning, right? Like we're excited about this high five drawing is awesome. We're excited about being awesome at something. And quite frankly, the issue of moving forward is difficult. Yeah, a lot of people, especially high achievers, can get stuck on new things because it's hard to suck, right? Like no one wants to be good at at sucking. No one wants to be bad at sucking. No one just wants to suck, period. It's unwanted. And when you do something new, you have no idea what you're doing. You don't know the vocab, you don't know the way around the office. You don't know where to stand in the bank. It's awkward, it's uncomfortable, and it can be embarrassing. And time again, I see so many people stop working on new careers or stop working on new sports or new habits like exercise because of this noviceness. And so one of the things that we need to look at is this societal feeling of sucking, right? Like we're taught to be awesome, we're taught to be achievers. And so when you want to learn something new, this culture of aggressive kind of, go get 'em, you have to kick ass and everything is toxic, because you're just gonna be bad at it when you start. It's natural to be bad at something you've never done before, but our culture doesn't really allow people that space to do new things, and that can be so detrimental to people's health or people's careers, because they need that time and that energy to go out and learn something new and be bad at it at first, right? So one thing there, it is hardest for people who draw their sense of self from their career, and I feel this in myself for sure, is, I'm a photographer. It's like, where do I get my sense of self? A lot of the sense of self I have is from my career, right? Like I identify as a photographer. And so when I take a bad photo or a photo shoot doesn't go the way I want it to, that can be detrimental to the way I feel about myself. And it's even harder in this situation to try something new because you're so attached to your success in your career. Now, it's not always true that people draw their sense of self from their career. People who have more confidence and a larger sense of who they are in the world will do better at trying new things. That's generally, on a whole, going to be people who are a little bit older, right? Like if you're right out of college or right out of high school even, it's going to be harder for you to just be bad at something, right? It's going to be hard for you at a party to go up, play beer pong for the first time and just throw that ball over the table because you didn't realize how light it was. It's just straight difficult. And so, asking for that space, people who are really socially savvy can kind of announce that they're new and be like, be nice to me, and kind of request that. But most people don't have that large social skill set to deal with that situation very easily. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that, and more so about the way you treat yourself to start, because asking people for permission to suck is one thing, but you first really have to ask yourself for it. Business is the main thing that people want to learn. Like time and time again, I hear, money, 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 right? Like everybody's after the dollars. The bank has your money and you want more of it in there, and that's natural. That's our society, that's capitalism. We're working hard here, and that task of being good with money is a larger task that is a great thing to be starting. So if you're starting your business journey looking at this video, then you should first accept that you're not good at it yet. That's why you're learning it, and also give yourself that gentleness that you need, because so many entrepreneurs, so many people who want to go out on their own are so self-critical,
It's
and
three
it's
o'clock.
really quite difficult, because we think of criticism as coming from the outside world, right? Like if you go to the party and you whiff the beer pong ball into the crowd, someone's going to make fun of you. But in the end, one of the hardest things maybe that you make fun of yourself. And that can be very detrimental to your success in learning something new. So this is basically an example of self-management, right? Like we think of management, you hear the word management, you hear, somebody with employees who has 10 employees needs to be a manager, or someone who looks over a warehouse of 50 employees, they're a manager, but we also all manage ourselves. And that's especially important as an entrepreneur. So what is it that, that you need to do in your self-management in moving forward with this project and learning to love sucking, right? Like the goal here is to embrace sucking and be excited and happy with yourself for taking those first steps. And the best way to look at it from my perspective is to think about a child, right? It could be yourself, or it could be a child you know, or for that matter, an abstract child, whatever you prefer. But if you think about that child, I watch baseball the most out of sports. So if you think about that child trying to learn baseball, right? Like a 5-year-old playing t-ball, if the kid is frustrated, he can't hit the bat, he can't hit the ball with the bat. This is how good at baseball I am. If he can't hit the ball, you're not going to make fun of him because he's a kid, right? He's only 5. You're going to give him that space to be like, look, don't get frustrated, don't cry, like just give it time and give it persistence, and you'll get it, and you'll support that child and you'll nurture that child. And you really want to take that mentality to yourself as well. And instead of thinking, oh, you know, this is so frustrating, and getting in this kind of angry mood, which you can get to, but go back to sort of being like, good job for trying, you know, good job for moving your life forward and not getting stuck in the same place like so many people do in their careers. It takes a lot of societal understanding, of understanding of why people do what they do, to give up the fact that people might make fun of you. You know, it's hard to be made fun of. No one wants to be made fun of, and you are probably going to embarrass yourself at some point in this journey. Like it could just be someone as simple as a bank employee, or it could be someone more significant to you, like your partner or your or your employee. You know, you may really make mistakes here, and that is inevitable. Like when you're learning something new, like you're gonna mess stuff up, and that is part of your journey. And giving yourself that sense of time to develop and simply rewarding yourself for growing is really important. Because if you're so results focused that you're just mad at yourself or you're frustrated with yourself, it's gonna make it very difficult for you to escalate up to the next step. And so in the end, you know, you want to be goal-oriented. We're always taught to be goal-oriented, right? You have this goal, set that goal, write it down, but then take that gentle path with yourself where you know that this isn't going to happen tomorrow, right? Like you're not going to be, hey, I want to be good at business, and then take an hour to watch YouTube videos and be like, wow, I'm great at business. Like business is one of the most complicated things because it's constantly evolving. Tech, mobile, the internet in general, but then right back down to COVID-19. There's all kinds of stuff changing the way business is done constantly, and so to be good at it is to really understand it. And it's the same with a lot of things like complex sports. Like golf is a very difficult sport. I've tried to learn golf myself, and you know, you could spend 200 or 300 hours just getting decent at golf, let alone good at it. And so letting myself suck at golf is hard. Like I don't want to go out there and play golf with my brother-in-law and look like an idiot. But the nature of it is that that I will, and that if I want to get better at golf, I've got to go out on the course. Right now, I don't actually play golf because that does not fit into my schedule well. But I have played other really difficult sports, and it always is hard for me to watch people try and learn tennis because I'm really good at it, and they feel this sense of competition with me right off the bat, and I'm like, okay, look, like I played this sport in high school competitively. I was a varsity tennis player. Like you can't come out on the court day 2 of your tennis racket ownership and expect to compete with me on the court. But that doesn't mean that you've done anything wrong. Like what you're asking of yourself is inhuman. So take that time. It can be important. You'll hear about the 1% rule if you haven't dived into business theory too much. The 1% rule is that a 1% improvement per day is actually quite large, and that is relatively true. So if you think about getting 1% better every single day, if you break your goal down from being like, hey, I'm going to be awesome at business, right? And then you say, hey, I'm going to be awesome at business and I'm going to get 1% better. That's a lot, because after 100 days, that's 100% with compound. So that's a lot better. And so the goal of taking those baby steps can be really important. And so that's a really specific technique. And then the underlying piece is to be gentle with yourself and nurture yourself rather than being always aggressive with yourself. There's a balance there. You need to be aggressive about your goals, and you need to be gentle with yourself as a human. And you need to be goal-oriented, but you need to treat that goal as a large journey that you do 1% a day, or even 1% a week, depending on your time frame for that goal that you've set. Great. Well, that's all I have for this video, but like and subscribe. I'm going to be putting a lot more of these up, so I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Thank you.